Okay guys, good morning. So I was having breakfast this morning and taking my regular rounds of coffee. Then I decided why not try another deck. And this in particular of course is to prepare us for the upcoming Loyalty Battles 2, which is to be held 3 days from now at the PM Apartments building in Diliman, Quezon City. So, going over my library of main characters, so I decided to, let's say, why not try to use one of the less popular characters, main characters, and I decided to try my hands on this particular main character, and this is Norman Osborn. Okay, so what I really like about this guy, of course, is this main character has attitude, and as you can see here, though he's not really much more of a very powerful character with this level 1, having this particular superpower just for instance, but when he becomes level 2, then he is enabled to give all of your hammer characters that needed lethal punch. So lethal, again, when you are attacking a defending character and you get to stun them, then you get to KO them, no matter how many health they have. So if we are up against the likes of defenders or let's say X-Men, which are really very difficult to KO with their supporting characters having multiple number of health, then I think this particular guy can give us an advantage during any loyalty match. So again, try to stick with me as we try to discuss this particular loyalty deck, and this is called Hammer Time. So once again, this is your host, Mark Eom, and let's try to dissect what will make Hammer Time, okay, soar during the next loyalty battles. By the way, if you haven't really visited us yet here in the Philippines, so again, I'd like to take the opportunity to again greet our sponsor, our official venue for Chubby Place, and we are located at Unit B, Velasquez Compound. That is on the 3rd floor. Okay, we are along Naga Road in Pulanlupa 2, Las Piñas City, Philippines. So again, we are for Chubby Place, and you can dine in there, and you can also play your favorite hobbies. We also have Magic the Gathering. We also have Gundam, Gunpla. We also have Beyblade, and of course we have VS2 PCG, and that is the official venue for VS2 PCG here in the Philippines. Okay, so while I'm having breakfast and taking my regular rounds of coffee, I decided to take a look and see if we can build a loyalty deck based on the Norman Osborn main character. So let's try to look at him and what are his assets that we have considered, so that we'll be may get a chance to play him in the upcoming loyalty battles 2, which is 3 days from now. So Norman Osborn at level 1, he is from the H.A.M.M.E.R team. So again, he is also known as the Iron Patriot and the Green Goblin. So again, a warning, you cannot play supporting characters called Iron Patriot or Green Goblin if Norman Osborn is in play. So he's a 1 attack 6 defense main character with 5 health, and his first superpower is no fatalities. So again, during the main phase, you may pay 1 green power symbol to daze an enemy character. This is also good, but again, dazing is considered as stunning an opposing character, but it does not get a wound. But again, it will coincide with his level up power, which is Director of Hammer. So he needs only 4 XP to level up. So when a hammer character on your side stuns an enemy character but doesn't KO them, Norman gains an XP. Okay, so you need only 4 XP. in order to get, and normally you can play no fatalities in order to achieve this goal. And once he levels up, Norman Osborn now dons the Iron Patriot armor and becomes a formidable 7 attack 6 defense main character, now with flight and range. He loses the no fatalities, but then he gains several keyword powers, and the first is bring me their hands, heads, and hearts. And hammer characters on your side are lethal. So this is one consideration that I considered uh, when I made my choice of playing Norman Osborn, because having your characters gain lethal in any match is a very advantageous point. Okay, so though the second keyword powers, Dark Avengers, Dark X-Men, may not really come to fore in this particular deck that we build, because of course we are playing in a loyalty format. So Dark Avengers and Dark X-Men, hammer characters on your side are also Avengers and X-Men. But since we are using a loyalty format deck, chances are we cannot really play any Avengers or any X-Men plot twists or locations, because they have to be all hammer. Okay, so now let's take a look at what are the supporting characters, plot twists, and locations that are included in this version of my Hammer Time loyalty deck. So for this, we have prepared several supporting characters to aid Norman Osborn in his cause. And let's try to look at them. And what I really like about the Hammer team, of course, is they have a wide range of characters. Several of them are really very powerful, and they have one of the biggest 8-drop in the game. Though later on, we'll try to consider looking at that also. And okay, the first is of course 4 copies of your Victoria Hand. And Victoria Hand is a 1-cost hammer supporting character with 1 attack and 3 defense, and with 1 health. And she has agent, so when Victoria appears, you may look at the cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of agents on your side, and put any of them on the bottom of your deck. So similar to our shield deck using Falcon or the Captain America Falcon, Victoria Hand also has agents, so at least she may get to help, okay, rearrange the top deck of your top cards of your deck in order for you to gain several card advantage, okay, during any match. But what is more important for Victoria Hand in this deck is, of course, she is your right hand woman. So the first time a main character on your side uses a green superpower each turn, then they pay 1 less green power symbol. Okay, so Victoria Hand works hand in hand, of course, no pun intended, with the no fatality superpower of Norman Osborn. And if you can't draw on that green location or the wild location for hammer, at least Victoria Hand can provide that needed green power symbol in order to activate no fatalities, and thus be able for Norman Osborn to gain that much needed XP. Okay, so we have put 4 copies of Victoria Hand for that particular purpose. And of course, what is hammer without your agents? So we have 4 copies of Hammer Enforcer, and Hammer Enforcer is your next 1-drop with a 2 attack, 1 defense, and 1 health, and with range. And they have Swarm, so you can have any number of this character on your side, and this power cannot be turned off. So Swarm enables you to play multiple copies of Hammer Enforcer on your side of the board at any time. And at the same time, Hammer Enforcer has soldiers, so when this character appears, put -1/-1 counters equal to the number of soldiers on your side onto an enemy supporting character. So just like with the Hydra team, Hammer Enforcer has soldiers, so you can actually weaken the condition of supporting characters from your opponent's side by using multiple copies of Hammer Enforcer. Okay, then we also have for our next 2-drop, 4 copies of Grizzly. And Grizzly, though he doesn't have much of a text, since he doesn't talk too much, but then again at 2 cost, he's a 5 attack, 2 defense supporting character with 2 health. So at least Grizzly is a very huge 2-drop, okay, for your team. And this is what I like about this particular character. He is a tough nut to crack because of his 2 health. So Grizzly will come to this deck, okay, for that purpose. And to begin some of the combos for your deck, of course, we have 4 copies of Dagger. And Dagger is your next 2-drop at 2 attack, 5 defense with 1 health and range. And she has light force manipulation. So if a -1/-1 counter would be put on a character on your side, then you may put a +1/+1 counter on that character instead. So Dagger goes in tandem, of course, with your 3-drop character, and that is her partner, which is Cloak. So Cloak, on the other hand, is your 3-drop with 3 attack, 3 defense, and 1 health and flight. And he has Dark Force channeling. So when another character appears on your side, put a -1/-1 counter on it equal to its cost. So again, good thing about here is Cloak can be a double-edged sword, but again, if you have Dagger out in play, you can convert those -1/-1 counters into +1/+1 counters, thus making your other characters bigger once you drop them in play. So the Hammer team, as I can see it, does not really do much of the curve, because again, you can play either by curve or by using the Winnie style of playing characters, no, putting small cost characters out in play multiple times. Okay, so Cloak and Dagger will really work on this particular deck, but then you have to be careful because both Cloak and Dagger have shifting loyalties. So you have to be wary of opponents like those playing Brotherhood or Mutant Resistance or X-Men during any loyalty match. So at the end of your turn, if there are face-up characters, enemy characters from the Brotherhood, Mutant Resistance, or X-Men team, and Cloak has the Hammer affiliation, then he moves to that side, then loses his team affiliation, then gains either, okay, Brotherhood, Mutant Resistance, or X-Men respectively. So they're not really that loyal to you, so you have to be careful when playing them if you're up against any mutant loyalty deck. Okay, so now let's look at your other 2 drops and 3 drops. So the next pair, of course, will also be a combo, and they see not really a combo, but they synergize with one another. And of course, your next 2 drop are 2 copies of Ghost. And Ghost here is a 2 cost, 3 attack, 3 defense supporting character with range and 1 health. And Ghost has intangible, so Ghost can strike or be struck in melee combat. So if somebody melees her, okay, they cannot hurt her or hurt them in return. Okay, or for her to hurt them in return. And she also has invisible, so Ghost doesn't protect characters and can attack protected characters. So Ghost here is more strategically placed at the back row, wherein she can hit opponents either on the front or on the back row, and at the same time, if somebody melees her at the back row, she cannot be hurt, okay, or cannot be struck back in return, so she cannot be stunned. But then because of her very low stats, she can now synergize with your other 3-drop character, and that is 4 copies of Bullseye. So Bullseye here is not really the real Bullseye. It's not really the original Hawkeye, but he's just impersonating him. So Bullseye is your next 3-drop with 4 attack and 4 defense. Okay, with 1 health and range. and he is impersonating Hawkeye. So Bullseye has Sniper, while Hawkeye isn't on your side. So if you're not playing up against, let's say, an Avengers deck, loyalty deck, then Bullseye can work out the snipering at the back row. And together with Ghost, of course, both of them can hit opponents from the back row and be able to, okay, attack protected characters in tandem while team attacking, because Ghost, okay, doesn't protect characters and can attack protected characters, while Hawkeye or Bullseye, sorry, has Sniper, wherein he can, okay, attack, okay, characters or protected characters from the back row. Okay, so very good tandem for this particular deck. And for your 4-drop, we have 4 copies of Dakken. And Dakken here is impersonating Wolverine. And Dakken is your 5 attack, 5 defense character with 2 health. And while he is impersonating Wolverine, Dakken has Berserker. So while Wolverine is not on a side. So the good thing about Dakken here is he can grow big if he goes unchecked. And Dakken, okay, can actually provide the needed muscle for the mid-game strategy of your deck. On the other hand, we also have an extra set of 4 drops, and these are 2 copies of Moonstone. And Moonstone is a 6 attack, 4 defense character with flight and range. And while she is impersonating Miss Marvel, Moonstone has +1 health while Miss Marvel isn't on a side. So this power remains on while Moonstone is face down. So while this is active, Moonstone is considered to have 2 health, and the good thing about it is she has flight and range, so she can really provide a good, a very powerful 4-cost character for your deck. Okay, and going to your 5th drop, we have 2 copies of Venom, and this is the Venom, okay, that is with the asterisk. So Venom here is also known as Scorpion. So again, you cannot play any Scorpion supporting character or main character while Venom is in play. And he is a 7 attack, 7 defense character with 2 health, and he's impersonating Spider-Man. So Venom has mobile while Spider-Man isn't on a side. So what you can normally see here is that most of our higher drop characters already have 2 health. Okay, so at least this will make your characters on your side a little bit tougher to get rid of because of their multiple health. And at the same time, you also have lethal once that Norman Osborn gets to level 2, and that will really make your deck advantageous during any match. And to continue on, we have for our 6th drop 2 copies of Emma Frost. And Emma Frost here is a 6 cost, 7 attack, 6 defense character with 2 health. So she has fluid forms and fidelity. If you would power up Emma Frost supporting character with this card, you may have her transform into this card instead. Though not much on the keyword powers, but Emma Frost is, I have chosen Emma Frost here because of course she has 2 health, and she goes on with the thematic advantage of your deck, which of course having tougher characters against those of your opponents. Okay, and going on further, we have for our 7th drop 2 copies of Namor. And Namor here is a 9 attack, 9 defense character with 2 health, and he has flight, so he's a good flight wall during the late game. And he has Imperious Rex, so during any combat you may pay a green power symbol to double Namor's current attack and defense until the end of the combat. So good thing about Imperious Rex is of course if you can double Namor's current base attack and defense, then he becomes an 18 attack, 18 defense character, which can normally beat down most of the higher drops from other teams. So if I can get it correctly, again, most of the higher drops from the other teams are like Gilgamesh at 16 attack and 16 defense, or let's say from the Colossus from the mutant resistance at 13 attack and 13 defense, or let's say Thanos at 12 attack and 12 defense. So normally Namor can take them down. Okay, so that's why I included him here, though it's up to you if you would like to replace him with Ares, but I guess Namor here is a much more tactical character to be used for this particular loyalty deck. And at the same time, again, beware since he has shifting loyalties. So if you are up against a Brotherhood, a Mutant Resistance, or an X-Men deck, then chances are he may not be that loyal to you. So at the end of your turn, if there's a face-up enemy mutant character like from the Brotherhood, Mutant Resistance, or X-Men, then Namor moves to that side and loses his team affiliations. Then gain that particular team affiliation from your opponents. Again, my advice here, of course, is if you're able to play Namor, then at least you must be able to stun all their characters, during your turn, so that he will not shift side. And the biggest drop for this particular deck is, of course, we have 2 copies of the Sentry, and the Sentry is your 18 attack, 18 defense powerhouse with 2 health and flight and range. Sad thing here, of course, is because he has a setback and he's a reluctant god, so Sentry can't really strike. Though he has mindfulness, so during any combat, you may pay a yellow power symbol for Sentry to lose his reluctant god for that particular combat. Though the 18 attack and 18 defense will be an advantage for you during any match, because he carries the biggest stats among supporting characters as of today. And having this particular character come out during the 8th turn is really a big plus for you if you're able to spare those yellow base locations for you to activate his mindfulness. So at least we have put him here because anyway, having an 8 drop with 18 attack and 18 defense is a boon for any particular deck. So now those are your supporting characters. And for our particular loyalty deck, Hammer Time carries 2 sets of plot twists, and of course our first is outposition, and this is one of the most important plot twists for Hammer. During the main phase, put a +1/+1 or a -1/-1 counter on a character. Then you may move it to a different row on its side. So instead of pumping up your characters, what we're going to do here is we're going to try to place as many characters as possible during any match, and at the same time use outposition to move those characters that you need to hit on the front row, so that you're able to stun them. And this is most especially for their main characters. And putting that +1/+1 or -1/-1 counter will also help try to level down that character's defense by weakening them. Then again, if you are up against, let's say, a bigger character, then you may push that character back into the back row, so that you are able to attack then those protected characters at the back row. So outposition is a very strategic plot twist for this particular deck. And since you have several cards like outposition and Hammer Enforcer, so we just decided to put 4 copies of Spin Master here, so that you may double the -1/-1 counters on each enemy character. So again, this also can help weaken your opponent's board state by putting those by penalizing them with those -1/-1 counters. Then we also have our base locations. So for this particular deck, we just put in 2 sets of basic locations and of course their wild location. And Academy is here because we need them for your Sentry's mindfulness. So we have put 4 copies of Academy in order to help pay for the weaknesses of Sentry. And we also put 4 copies of Fortress, and they are here because of course you need to pay for Norman Osborn's superpower, no fatalities, and Namor's Imperious Rex. So 4 copies of them here. If you notice, most of the other characters are using keywords, so you're not really into those in particular set of power generating locations. And we also have 4 copies of the H.A.M.M.E.R HQ, and this wild location also, of course, will help pay for Norman Osborn's level 1 no fatalities, and Namor's Imperious Rex, and Sentry's Mindfulness. So in short, this particular deck mostly works on those keyword powers, and since during any loyalty format, Dark Phoenix doesn't really come out very often, so you're not really very very dependent on your locations and even your plot twist, since most of your characters are already beefed up and their keyword powers will work for themselves. So the strategy here is just to go beat down on your opponent, beating them up with like Grizzlies, Moonstone, Namor, Sentry, and of course you have your bullseye and your ghost combination to hit protected characters hiding in the back row, and you have also your cloak and dagger tandem in order to help weaken your opponent's board state. So I think this is a very good deck to bring along in any loyalty format. I think I saw one player in BS2 PCG Collective, I think it was C-Stacks who came up with, or Karen Cook, who came up with a battle royale format and using, of course, H.A.M.M.E.R to pick from the Utopia Battles team deck box. And Norman Osborn is a really very good character for this particular loyalty format battles. Okay, so I hope you like this video and Norman Osborn caught your attention, and let's see if Norman Osborn can prove his worth during the upcoming loyalty battles 3 days from now. So before we go, okay, first of all, I'd like to thank our sponsors, and of course we'd like to thank our official venue, which is Fort Chavy Place, and Fort Chavy Place is located at Unit B, Velasquez Compound, located along Naga Road in Pulanlupa 2, Las Piñas City, Philippines. And of course our other venue, which is in TM Apartments building, and this venue is located at Matalino Street in Diliman, Quezon City, Philippines. And we also like to thank our other sponsors like Treats for Them and Virtual Mall Philippines. So again, if you are in the Philippines, you can order BS2 PCG cards and deck boxes at using the Treats for Them mobile app. So Treats for Them, that is spelled as TREATS, the number 4, THEM, and you can actually download the app at the Google Play Store, or you can visit their website at www.treatsforthem.com. And soon we'll be launching the newest mobile shopping mall app in the Philippines, and that is Virtual Mall Philippines, or VMP. And of course, we also like to thank our friends from the BS2 PCG Collective, and these are Mr. Benjamin, Mr. Ben Brosin, Mr. Joe Human Torch Vitelli, and of course we have our friend, the Dark Lord himself, Mr. Ralph Edwards III. And so once again guys, this is the Norman Osborn H.A.M.M.E.R time, okay, loyalty deck tech, and hope you like this video. So don't forget to like us, follow us, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hope to see you again in another episode of BS2 PCG Deck Forger.